Hello everyone, I'm glad to welcome all my subscribers and people who are simply interested in art on my channel. And today we are going to deal with a kind of landscape, but it will be a kind of sketching and it won't take you long to complete this. It will be a study of nature in autumn. Actually, I'm not using a white palette here, an extended palette here, and it will be saturated with the hues of red and the hues of green color. So before we begin, I'd like to say a few words about the scenery, that it's typical Russian scenery, because we have very distinct seasons here. There are 4 seasons which differ greatly from each other, and every season has its own specific features. And I like personally to paint autumn because it's vivid, it looks differently every year, and you will never see the same scene again, even in the same place, because the nature changes, and when an artist watches the nature change, it does him good, by all means. So, we start with the general outlines of red and ochre here, to just mark the lines and the points, to create some landmarks which will we use later to add some details. Actually, we won't go into details very deeply, and here we are going to create an impression first of all, and the brush strokes will be quite wide, and I will be using a very narrow, a very thin, small brush, number 0, number 1, only at the end of the process. So pay attention to the way we deal with the sky. So actually the mistake of commencing artists is in the step, maybe, if I may put it like this, when they begin to apply direct colors to the sky, to the grass, to the meadows, mountains, water, everything. So if we take a look at different famous paintings, absolutely all works of art, and I don't mean the contemporary ones, but something like a bit old-fashioned, you will see that the approach is the same, and the ways that painters created their masterpieces have the same approach. And if we start to apply the colors directly, then it will never be possible to get the right impression, so to say, and the right mood. And many people believe that the artist knows what he gets at the end of the process, finally. But artists themselves know that they can't foresee, mm, they can't guess maybe the final result, and the process of painting involves your contemplating, the process of contemplation and observation, and the observation of nature is really important. And you add maybe even one brush stroke, and it really changes the whole picture. And I do not recommend to start with bright spots, with very vivid ones, and if um, people don't follow this rule, simply they experience a wide range of problems in the process of painting. So if we paint, the rule is, the general rule is to start painting with the dark spots, the darkest spots, and add a bit of light, shades of light, maybe to get the right result. And so here you see that if we work with the landscape, and if we want to get a panoramic view of the landscape, but actually this one is not panoramic fully, because its proportion is 3:4 actually, and not 16:9, as if we were speaking about the size of the screen. But the same rule can be applied to painting as well, and if we, I mean, the same dimensions. And this one is not panoramic, but if we work actually with landscape, then we should remember that the strokes should not, I can't say must be, because no one knows what must be actually, and what approach is the best. But generally, it's generally accepted that the strokes are horizontal in this case, if we work with the landscape, because it lets you create to create the relief, and to render, maybe to render the peculiarities of the relief. So and then step by step, gradually, I start to add smaller strokes of brush, using smaller brushes, and they gradually become lighter and lighter. So, and now I'm creating the layers, so to say. So and we should distinguish between the background and the foreground, and bright spots of light. Let us create the foreground, and we shouldn't let the trees mix with the background. So if we don't do this, then the sense of painting itself goes away, and it will be really difficult to catch up with it, so to say. So the more mistakes you make, the farther your final goal is. I mean the painting. And now I'm adding some delicate strokes, to the trees. But this is the first stage of working, and actually I completed this sketch in maybe 2 hours, or a bit more or a bit less, I don't remember. And pay attention to the dark areas under the trees, so they divide the foreground and the background. And we see that the trees begin to stand separately from the other parts of the picture, and now it's possible to add some strokes of dark color to the trees. And so every time you paint trees, you can't have the same approach, because if you have the same approach in all the pictures, then it won't make them very interesting, and they won't catch the eye of the spectator. And I add some hills, maybe it's like, I don't know, mole hills or simply small hills, and just like bumps on the flat surface. And actually the process is coming to the end. So pay attention to the way I depict the foreground. We shouldn't go into details, because the format of the painting is really very small, 35 to 25 centimeters, and it's actually canvas on cardboard, but it has a few layers of priming, and that's why it started to absorb the oil from the paint heavily, and it was not very comfortable to work on this surface. And actually I do not like to work on cardboard, but sometimes I have to do it, and I just wanted to depict autumn, and it was a moment, just my instant decision to take this old piece of cardboard covered in priming, and just add some strokes on it, and it's like a movement in the soul of the artist. And so I don't go into details in the foreground. It's like standing grass, high grass in the meadow, and it's really mixed. Green is mixed with yellow, with orange, with yellow cadmium, with ochre, with red ochre, with English red. So actually the names of the colors are different in English and in Russian, and there are the so-called tables of correspondence of the names, but I don't know. And here in the end I add a royal blue to the sky to make it a bit more vivid. And if you paint trees, don't forget to put spots inside, to put bright spots inside the trees, inside the inside the leaves, so to say, to make the sky visible through the mass of leaves. So and the painting is ready. Thanks for watching, thanks for your attention, and I will be glad to welcome you on my channel. Please subscribe. Thank you for watching.